I'm sure you've heard the news, but not like this. Get ready to dive into what's happening in the world of MMA. We're your go-to spot for fight night predictions, fighter interviews, and all the behind-the-scenes action you crave. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Give it up for your host, the one and only Panda.
What's up, everybody? Daddy from PandaMMANews.
What's up, everybody? Big Poppy.
We got Big Sloppy. We have a pretty interesting episode for you guys today. We have Ali Pellegrini, who's making her Invicta debut August 9th, I believe. It's actually her pro debut on top of her Invicta debut. She had 2 wins in a row in amateur, and they signed her for her pro debut. So that's pretty cool. We also have Ryan Parker. Ryan Parker, this episode is being recorded on Saturday the 13th. So this is the day of the Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez card. On the prelims, Andre Petrosky is fighting, and Ryan Parker fought Andre Petrosky, and the guy he's fighting, John something, starts with an F. But it's gonna be it's pretty cool. So we got those interviews coming up. So I guess we'll just dive right on into the Ali Pellegrini interview. So you guys enjoy, and before we get in there, make sure to buy some fucking merch.
Whoa, dude. Where'd you get that totally throbular shirt from?
Funny you should ask. I got it from PandaMMANews merch store. We have all sorts of merch to choose from, including our brand new Live, Laugh, Throb shirt from episode 4. We have dog collars, dog beds, limited edition shirts, hats, coffee mugs, and more. So what are you waiting for? Come throb with us at PandaMMANews.com. Just click the merch tab and check out all our great product.
Throbbing is known to cause health issues for both male and females above the age of 40. So do not use PandaMMANews.com without prior doctor consent. Please throb responsibly. Hey, what's up, Ali?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. You in Vegas right now?
No, I'm actually in Washington. That's where I live in Washington, Eastern Washington.
I guess I should have told you that before we started this.
Oh, no, I was just going to say in Vegas, I think the tweakers are putting the copper back in the air conditioners. It's hot out there.
So how's your day going, Ali?
It's good. How's your day going?
Good. We're just waiting for the UFC fights to start. So I guess we'll just jump right into this. Can you just kind of run us through what went through your mind and the emotions that ran through you when you got the call that Invicta wanted to sign you for a pro debut?
Yeah. So I signed a 4-fight contract with them at the beginning of this year, which that was a surprise to me because I the goal was to go pro, but I just didn't know it was going to happen this year. I'd never really know. So that was a big deal. And that was like 5 months ago. So I've just been waiting kind of. Things have been crazy this year. So I've been waiting, but I've also been patiently waiting. When I got the contract, I was on a hike like in the middle of nowhere. And I had reception for like 1 second and I saw that they sent me the contract and it was great. I mean, I'm so excited. I've been waiting for about 5 months. So I'm just really happy and I can't wait.
Yeah, it's a good thing you had single. I'm sure that was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, definitely made the day.
So how many fights are you signed under the current contract?
It's a 4-fight contract.
Oh, killer. So is
Yeah.
your fight happening, is that in August 9th?
Yep, August 9th in Denver.
Nice.
And sorry, my mic was muted still. So do you, obviously I'm sure you have UFC aspirations.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have a plan on how you're going to get in there, like Dana White Contender Series or Tough?
I would be fine with absolutely anything UFC because that is the end goal. So I mean, as of right now, I've got 4 fights with Invicta, and I think I can fight in other promotions as well. So like my plan as of right now is just take as many fights as I can, keep improving, and obviously 4 fights with Invicta, that's a big deal, and then it could happen in no time. I mean, it's gonna take some time, but I'm ready, and I want to keep fighting. And if I get a chance to get on the Contender Series, that'd be great. Tough is a little bit more difficult because of weight classes and stuff.
Yeah.
But Contender Series would be awesome.
Contender Series is definitely my favorite show. You
Yeah.
see some slobber knockers on there.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So, okay, I'm seeing that you're really well rounded. So I see that you have a lot of time spent in striking, doing Muay Thai, but you also have a really good jiu-jitsu background. I think I seen a post. You were a white belt and you actually placed first in the blue belt division too.
Yep. Yeah, everybody was calling me a sandbagger when I was a white belt. So my coach, he didn't want to promote me too fast, but eventually kind of had no choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, the presence was there. So would you consider yourself more of a striker or a grappler?
Definitely more of a striker. I started out with Muay Thai. My first 5 or 6 fights were Muay Thai. So I'm 5-1. My very first fight, I lost by knockout, and then I'm on a 7-fight win streak since then. So 5-1 Muay Thai, and then 2-0 MMA.
Okay. And yeah, actually, that brings up something I wanted to ask you, because I saw that you did a shout out for your coach, and you had mentioned that just a lot of praise and a lot of good things to say. And you said that your only loss was actually when he was on the other side of the octagon. How did that happen?
I've been training for a little under a year, and it was my first fight. I'm from Portland, and he's there. Our gym is based out of Tri-Cities, Washington. It's about 3 hours out from Portland. So I took a fight. It was kind of last minute. I had a fight booked with an opponent that pulled out, and then his fighter she was pretty good. She needed a fight last minute, so we accepted the fight, knowing it was going to be a tough fight. Not that that's an excuse at all, but yeah. So that was my first fight. I got knocked out in the second round, and then kind of like life got a little crazy, and I decided to move out here to Tri-Cities. And I just started training at the gym, and I didn't train full time here at first, but after a little while, like, the training was really good, everything was going really good, so I just decided to move out here full time. And since then, I've definitely improved a lot, so I haven't lost since that fight. But yeah, he's a really good coach. He's a great coach.
Yeah, I can see that, and you know, you can't appreciate the sunshine without the cloudy days, right? And I think you learn a lot from your losses, and so I was just curious how that happened, because I was like, okay, that's interesting. I got to ask her about that one.
Yeah.
Is it so? Did that happen in Great Falls, Montana?
That was here in Tri-Cities, Washington.
Oh, okay, that was in Washington, because I saw something you posted something about MMA debut in Great Falls, Montana.
That may have been my teammate. Yeah, I think that was my teammate at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we go to Montana. We used to go to Montana a lot.
That's
fight.
where I was born.
Oh, really? Yeah, I love
Yeah,
Montana.
Great Falls.
Yeah.
So I got a quick question. Has it been announced who you're fighting yet?
Yes. Well, no, it hasn't been announced.
Hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess this question is kind of nullified because we don't know who it is yet. But how would you give yourself a prediction that you're going to win this fight?
Yeah, like, without saying the opponent, I'm new to being pro, but I don't think I'm supposed to say who it is yet.
No, you're not.
Yeah. So I know she's more of a striker as well. So I would like to stand and strike with her, and I always do. But I also know that my wrestling and my grappling is great, and I like to be able to, like you said, I like to be well rounded in my fights, and I'm getting more comfortable with that in the cage. Because I've had so many Muay Thai fights, I don't just want to, stand up the whole time, but I will, and it's fun. But I want to mix it up. So, probably first round, feel her out, and second round, take it down to the ground and finish her on top, hopefully, or just get the knockout. That would be my two favorite ways to finish a fight. So.
Okay. Well, I guess that kind of leads me into this next question. I'm just kind of curious personally. So you're currently a blue belt?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. How many stripes you got?
3, I think. 3.
Okay. So you're right on the verge of being a purple belt.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I guess.
how's your gym work like when you guys advance belt levels? Do you do like a testing type thing or demonstration?
No, we kind of do it based on like a lot of the time. Like you move a lot quicker in our gym if you compete frequently. And I compete a lot. I do a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments. But it's not based solely on that either. I think our coach just kind of feels it out as we go, and then they know when we're ready to be promoted.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. We used to train at a jiu-jitsu gym here in town, and after like blue belt was kind of like time spent in the gym training and whatnot, and then after that you had to do certain demonstrations in order to advance.
Yep.
So I was just kind of curious if that's how every other gym was. Our gym used to be considered sandbaggers too, because each stripe was 50 hours on the mat.
Yeah.
So it was like 250 hours to get to your blue belt. It was wild.
Yep. That's crazy.
So this is something that I'm always curious to know. What brought you into the world of combat, and what did your upbringing look like that led you to be to have that warrior mentality?
Well, I grew up in Portland, and like when I was growing up in Portland, everything was good. Obviously, like every town has its ups and downs, but it was like a normal town. Things were pretty simple as far as my childhood. Things were good. I wasn't like an athlete, but I did play softball. I was really big into softball growing up, but I always wanted to be a boxer. That was my dream, but I never realistically thought I'd be able to do it. My family wasn't. I didn't have fighters in my family or anything. I didn't know anybody that was a fighter. It's just something I wanted to do. So I didn't really get into it until I was 17. But my adolescent years were rough. Like my childhood was good. Adolescent years were rough. Got into like a lot of drugs and alcohol. Spent a lot of time trying to figure that out. So when I was 17, I walked into a Muay Thai gym for the first time, and I got a little bit of experience, but I was still kind of struggling at that point, so I didn't dive into it fully. So I kind of started training when I was 17, but I had a good long hiatus, and I didn't start taking it seriously until I want to say, I think it was 2019, so I don't know how old I was in 2019. Like, I think I was like 23, roughly, 22, 23. And that's when I started training full time. And I took my first fight, got knocked out, and I was training at Team Quest, and that's where I started training, Team Quest Portland.
With Jill Sonnen?
No, not with him. That's where he used to train. I know Matt Lindland is the head coach there now. Pat Healy was the head coach at the time. And then I had my boxing coach, Jippo, who he's the one who really got me into fighting.
So did you train with any of the UFC fighters like Ricky Simone or like a Paige Van Zandt, or were they at the American Top Team up there?
They were at the American Top Team. Yeah.
Okay, I get them confused sometimes.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm sure some of them did train at Team Quest sometimes, but at the time I was there, we didn't have a whole lot of pro fighters. But we had some great fighters. So yeah. But anyway, so I trained there. I don't know. I was probably training there for about like a year, maybe 2 years, and so that's where I got my start in striking. Mostly, I tried to start wrestling and grappling there, and for the year that I was there, like I had made zero progress with my grappling, and it wasn't on the coaches. It was on me. I came into the sport with the mentality that I could just be a striker. Like I had no idea what I was doing. And I wanted to do MMA because I really loved MMA, but I thought that you could do MMA without having any sort of wrestling or grappling, which is hilarious. So I didn't really make a whole lot of progress. I tried a little bit, but my wrestling was horrible. My grappling was terrible. So I did focus mostly on striking that first year, and then I got knocked out in my first fight. So that was cool. So I took that fight, and then I took another fight, won my next fight, and that was still with Team Quest. And then my third fight was when I moved out here. So about a year and a half into my training, like right after my second fight, after my second fight, my mom got sick. She passed. I'm
sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good. It was like 4 years ago now. So I'm good now, but that definitely fucked me up a little bit for a while. But that was a huge turning point for me. that's when I moved out here. That's another part of the reason why I moved out here, because things got crazy in Portland and I wasn't doing great, and I just lost my mom, and yeah, things were crazy. So I moved out here, and I just kept winning fights, and I've been training here at Mercenary Combat Academy for like almost 4 years now. So yeah, it's been great.
So you started into this thing really humble, huh? Because you go into it, first fight, you get knocked out. I'm sure you had a world of emotions going through. Am I made for this? Did I make the right path? Like, is this what I want? And so kudos to you for keeping your head high and taking that as a lesson learned, and taking the loss and making it something that, I think, what'd you do, like 5 wins right after that or something? Did you go on a win streak?
Yep.
Yeah. And I wonder, with softball, I know you got to turn the hip to hit with the bat. I'm sure that translated well when you started implementing that into striking.
Yeah, I think it did. I do think it did. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just kind of leave off with this. We really appreciate your time today. Are you watching the UFC fights today?
I'm gonna try. We actually have our own event tonight, Northwest Kickboxing League here in Tri-Cities. So we've got like 6 fighters from our gym fighting tonight. So I probably will miss the fights because I'll be cornering and helping warm the guys up and everything. So, but I might try to catch some of the female fights.
Okay. So who do you have in the main event?
Main event.
Rose Namajunas, Tracy Cortez.
Oh, I'm gonna say Rose.
You think Rose?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, we really appreciate your time. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I know you're busy, giving us this interview. So we'll just leave this off here. All right, guys. So that was a pretty interesting interview with Ali Pellegrini. Again, I believe she has her debut fight for Invicta FC coming up on August 9th. Opponent is still unknown. Obviously, she knows, but because of contractual reasons, she can't tell us who she's fighting.
Yeah, and I'm sure she's a lot cooler up there in Washington instead of being in Vegas right now.
Yeah, dude. Here, like, you have to fuck an Eskimo just to get some cooling. So, we're talking like 109 degrees, brother, if you know what I mean.
I saw a chicken outside shit out an omelet, so.
I mean, you used that one in the Ali interview, too. I don't know if you remember that, but you did.
Who gives a shit? It's a true story.
It's true because we ate it. Ah!
Go fuck yourself.
Fuck you. Fuck you, Sambo. Jiu-jitsu's better. Sorry. Still let myself down from the last one. I digress. Exactly. But so next up, what we have for you is Ryan Parker. Sorry.
Fucking idiot.
I am a fucking idiot, dude. I mean, I'm fucking about 4 or 5 sheets to the wind, brother. So, we out here. But so what we have next for you is Ryan Parker. He is fighting for the Peak FC light heavyweight champion. Fun fact, which you will find out in this interview when you watch it, he fought Andre Petroski in UFC, or not in UFC, and I think he said Bellator, right? Didn't he say he fought him in Bellator?
Yeah.
Yeah, he fought him in Bellator, and he fought the guy that Petroski fought, or is fighting today. He fought him also in Bellator. So we're going to go ahead and dive on into that. So just be prepared, because after this interview, you guys are going to get hit with another fucking juicy goddamn ad. And you better listen, and you better go buy, or we're going to have an issue.
Because you might need those things.
Dude, you're going to need what ads coming up. I promise you, if your lady's sitting there and she's bitching at you nonstop, I promise you, our next partner is going to have what you need to repair the tool that she needs to get off your fucking back. So I suggest you just go visit our sponsor. So enjoy this interview and enjoy our next sponsor, Dad. Thanks. Hey, if it isn't Ryan Parker.
How you doing, man?
How's it going, sir?
It's going well, man. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Appreciate your time, man. So I guess we'll just jump right into it. You have a fight coming up on August 3rd. Can you just kind of run us through what you're doing for preparation for this fight without giving anything away?
Yes, sir. August 3rd, I'm fighting for Peak Fighting Championship out in Lake Charles, Louisiana, at a light heavyweight fight, taking on Rakeem Cleveland. And a pretty highly touted bout, man. Both of us are pretty seasoned guys. Coming off of fights, he was fighting he fought for the heavyweight championship, his last fight, and I challenged for the light heavyweight championship. So it's kind of, that consolation bracket type thing. We're facing off, hopefully, for a chance for one of us to get back in there and get another title shot coming up soon here before the end of the year. So, yeah, as far as training, I actually just got done with my good long Saturday training. We did some good sparring rounds this morning, and then I got some strength and conditioning in with our strength and conditioning coach, Ryan Parker over here in at the House of Muay Thai. So just putting in the work, really trying to build off of the things from the last fight that I felt like I fell short in, and shore up those areas and come out to put on a dominant performance this time.
Hey, Parker, where are you at in your grappling? Have you been focusing on that at all?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. That's actually my one of my strengths. I started out as a wrestler, really
Nice.
coming into the sport and progressively, focused on rounding out my game. Adding in the jujitsu, the striking, and just using my range. I'm a tall, longer fighter, so range and distance control is something that I've really implemented into my style over the last few years. But the grappling base is definitely my bread and butter, and that's something that I do plan to really showcase in this fight coming up. Really showcasing just the levels that I can go to with that, and also how I can dictate the fight, controlling that grappling as well as dictating the pace on the feet.
Cool. So, are you watching the UFC fights today at all?
Oh yeah. I'm tuning in. I got my favorites that I like to watch and follow. Tracy Cortez, she's one of my
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah. So
I understand that. But I got a quick question. So I was looking at your record, and you fought Andre Petroski, and he's fighting today. Are you tuning into that?
yeah, I'm actually because I fought Andre Petrosky and I also fought Josh Fremd.
Oh, no way.
The person he's fighting, yeah, Josh Fremd was my debut. We debuted in I debuted in Bellator, and we fought back on Bellator 186. I believe it was Ryan Bader versus Linton Vasil was the headline on that card. Also had like Phil Davis up there, so it was a pretty well known and star studded cast of people, and it was a great experience. So when I saw they were matching up, I was like, oh man, like that's going to be interesting because I fought both of them quite a few years ago now, but I've always followed both of them. Still got a lot of respect for both of them, and I'm interested to see who's able to come out because Petrosky is a strong grappler, but Fremd comes in with a good grappling base, but also just a overall well-rounded game, and I think that height difference is going to be something interesting to see how Fremd can see how Petrosky can get inside and dictate his grappling like he wants to. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. And a couple of other ones. I know Damon Blackshear. I've trained with him. We went to a couple of tryouts for some regional leagues back in the day, and we were there and just kind of made a little bit of a rapport. So I really follow the sport of MMA. That's the thing that I'll probably watch the most outside of football. But yeah, it's gonna be a good night of fights tonight.
Hey, you brought it up. So Parker, what's your favorite football team?
Atlanta Falcons.
Oh man. Hey, it's bang,
don't do that to me,
bang
man.
Niner gang, boy.
The Niners? Okay. I got respect for the Niners. I got respect for Niner fans.
Hey, but I'll say this, man. I was always a Falcons fan when I was a kid just because I like the gear. I think they had the dopest uniforms.
Yeah, that and when I was a kid, that was what made me lie. I was like, oh, I like their colors and their scheme. And then back then I found out Michael Vick, who was their quarterback, was from the 757 where I'm from. So it just was like an added bonus. I was like, okay, yeah, this is the team I'm gonna follow, and I've been following them ever since.
And if you're playing Madden, man, and back in the day you had Michael Vick, that was like a cheat code all in itself.
It was a cheat code.
Yeah,
it was a cheat code.
Cool. So I guess since you're watching the UFC fights, we'll go through your picks here at the end of the show.
Okay.
So I guess my next question is, I'm sure you have aspirations to get into the UFC, right?
Absolutely.
So do you have a kind of like a layout plan, like maybe Dana White's Contender Series, maybe a last minute show up, or like a tough type thing?
I would be open to both of them, really. I think I like the format of Contender Series a little bit better. I think that it catapults you and springboards you a little bit more than Tough is doing these days. Like Tough is legendary. I remember watching the first season of Tough back with Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture as the coaches, and following up, year after year, seeing the guys, loving to watch the house, see the dynamics of like the fighters behind the scenes, because I think that's something that MMA fans don't get to really see a lot. They're doing it more now these days with fighters being able to have podcasts and do podcasts like this. So you get a chance to kind of see who they are outside the cage. But I think that was the thing with the Ultimate Fighter that always intrigued me. It was like seeing these guys get to live in the house, knowing you're about to fight them. But I definitely think that these days the Contender Series is a chance to really make a huge splash and really get yourself in that UFC roster in a big way. So right now, I'm fighting on the regional scene. I'm on Peak Fighting Championship, which is really, I think, down in the Southwest United States area. They're really doing it big in a way that not many other promotions are doing it. Just in terms of the level of promo that they're doing for their fighters, the production, as well as just the way they're running the shows. I've been happy since I've signed with them. This is gonna be my second fight with them, and I got one more fight on my contract. So we're definitely trying to make these last two fights count. Like I said earlier, we're kind of doing a little bit of a consolation fight here with the two last title challengers for the heavyweight and light heavyweight belt. So perfect world. I win this fight on August 3rd. I get to go back in there. Hopefully, I would like to rematch John King, the current champion, who I fought and lost to. I would like to rematch and get that one back because I definitely think that there were some things that I could do a lot better in that fight that would change the outcome of that, and end on that in my contract as a champion of Peak, and then see where we can go from there. Whether I need to re-sign and defend that thing a few times, or maybe that'll be enough to get me, like you said, one of those late notice Contender Series shots, and then it's just go up there and impress the guys on the big stage.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to get it done. You got to make some noise in these next two fights, right?
Yes, sir.
And draw a lot of eyes and attention on you. And
Yes,
I think
sir.
that'd be a great way to do it, to rematch Johnny King, because that happened, pretty quick in the second round for you. But I think, just getting that distance and that timing right for you and being able to deploy your game plan, and I think it's a totally different fight for you.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, that's some of the things we've looked at it with it. Some of the things we've adjusted in this training camp. That that's the beautiful thing. Each fight you kind of get to go in and see like, okay, what did we do this fight that maybe we didn't do as much last fight, or what are some things we did in prior fights? Training partners that we had to work with that really helped us be as sharp as we could possibly be. And like I said, I think with the changes that we made going into this camp, the things we've added back into the must do routine, I think I made that a very different fight, and I'm looking forward to it. He actually fights tonight. He fights the last guy that I beat, Myron Dennis, off of Myron Dennis stepped in off on a week's notice because the heavyweight champ who was moving down to fight John King, I guess something happened where he had to pull out of the fight, and they put Myron Dennis in there as a replacement. So the guy's fighting tonight actually for Peak Fighting Championship. I think they're in Lake Shawnee, Oklahoma. I can't remember the exact city, but I know it's in Oklahoma. These are two guys that I'm very familiar with, and I will be watching that fight very closely.
And, we just had Ali Pellegrini on. She's about to make her pro debut in Invicta. And one of the things that we talked about, because her first MMA fight was she got a loss. And so one of the things we talked about is, you can't enjoy the sunshine without the cloudy days. And when you lose like a loss to John King, you always get to go back to the drawing board, and you learn so much from those losses. And so that's why it's so interesting when you get a rematch with somebody, because you got to take time to really digest what had happened and where you could have done better, and maybe in preparations, or you'll know better than anybody, obviously, what was leading up to that fight, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and everything above. But that'd be a really interesting matchup for you. I'd love to see that one. I would tune in for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, like it gives you a chance to, like you said, like this game that we play is an unforgiving one, and as much as we like to tout the the Khabibs that go 29-0, like that's not the way most of the people's career is going to shake out. You're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs. It's about how you rebound from that. I think a mark of a champion is really how he battles adversity and comes back. So, immediately after that fight,
right
I was already like, hours after we were getting food, and I'm already breaking down like, I could have did this, I could have did this. Let me see that replay. Let me see that video you got of the film. You know what I mean? So I almost obsess at times over it. So, sometimes my coaches have to reel me back like, hey, don't obsess too much over it. But that's just how I am because, I go in there with high expectation for myself. And when it doesn't go my way, I'm the first one to be ready to hold myself accountable on where I could have been better. It always starts with you first, and then, from there you're able to kind of sure the holes up and fix the shortcomings in your preparation, because that's what it is at the end of the day, is preparation. John King, I got a lot of respect for him, you know what I'm saying? His prep was just superior to my prep that time. But the next time we step in there, I truly believe all the prep in the world will not be able to protect them from what I plan to do.
Yeah,
brother.
I definitely agree with what you said. This isn't fucking boxing. One loss isn't gonna ruin your career, and that's the beauty of MMA. It's trial and error, and luckily for the athletes, and honestly, MMA as a whole, the fans don't hold that record, on the holy grail, kind of like how boxing fans do.
Exactly.
Where as soon as a boxer gets a loss, it's abandoned all shit.
Yeah, he drops down a tier of like what type of fighter he is. He's no longer in the upper echelon of the, just for example, the Tank Davis is, and you take a loss there and now you're not in that same conversation anymore, regardless of, how great the guy you were fighting was. So yeah. That's the beautiful thing about MMA is it's kind of realistic to life, and it lets you ride out those bumps and measures greatness on the end as opposed to the individual stops along the way.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you know what? Let me get your picks real quick since you're actually watching the fights. I'm just gonna get your picks in the last 3 fights.
Okay.
Drew Dober versus Jean Silva. Who do you got there?
That's a tough one. I like Drew Dober. I think like he's kind of been on a little bit of a run, if I remember correctly. I was looking at some of the fights, just little parlays here and there, and I think I went Dober on that one. Just I hadn't seen too much of Gene Silva.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen too much.
He's going for Gene Silva, man, but fucking
he's
Drew
on a
Dober.
10-fight win streak.
Yeah, but Drew Dober's got that knockout power, bro.
He's on a 10-fight win streak though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's moving up in weight.
In UFC.
Oh, that's a good question.
He's moving up too. He's moving up from featherweight to lightweight. So Drew's naturally the bigger guy.
That's what I'm saying. It's a lot, and Drew's a dog, man. He's shown in his last few that like he can take people to those deep waters. So I'm going Drew. He's looked good in his last few that I've seen, and like I said, I couldn't really find too much on Gene. So I'm gonna go Drew. I'm gonna go Drew Dober.
Hell yeah. Okay, so the next one we got is Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Muslim Salikhov.
I saw that one. I'm a fan of Santiago, but I feel like he's been a little up and down the last few years, man. So and I have a little bit of a rule. Those guys whose names I have trouble pronouncing, you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, all right, this is
you don't bet against them.
Yeah, it's hard to go against them when they got those names that sound like they come from that Dagestani area, man. So
yep. That's my general rule of thumb. If they come from an area that ends with Stan, I don't bet against.
Exactly. It's like, all right. So I think I just because Santiago has been a little up and down, and I just didn't trust it. I think I can't even pronounce his name. I wasn't too confident on Santiago.
Okay, cool. So I guess that leads us to the last fight: Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez.
And this one, man, this is because, like I said, I'm a big Tracy Cortez fan.
Yeah.
I actually, for that last camp, I was out at Fight Ready, cross training for a couple of weeks. She wasn't there, of course, but I would have loved to get a chance to just meet her, see how she trains. But
hell yeah, we all would.
Exactly. So I was a little heartbroken, but looking at this fight, my biggest thing when I looked at it was Rose's experience. Like, she's been fighting the top of the top, the cream of the crop. My only thing that kind of gave me a lot of confidence in Tracy is that, her wrestling background, and we've seen Rose lose. She lost to Carla Esparza, who's another very good heavy wrestling base fighter. The Jessica Andrade fight, where she's not so much a wrestler, but she's a strong, powerful
She got
grappler.
slammed on her head.
Yeah, so Tracy Cortez having that ace in the hole, and just kind of she's been on a tear. She's 11-1, I believe, right? Beating some good names, and I think she's definitely in that trajectory to kind of get into that serious title contender spot. And I think that's what them moving her up to fight Rose is really showing. So I'm a little worried that it sounds like she had maybe a rough weight cut though.
Yeah, she had to cut her hair. And also on top of that, this is in Denver. And she was saying, she was only out there a few weeks in advance and she's already acclimated. And I just have a hard time believing she's acclimated that fast.
I've trained at altitude. It definitely takes a little bit longer than they say. They say 2-3 weeks, but for you to really feel comfortable, I think you need to be out there maybe a good month and a half. So I
still got Tracy.
It's hard to go against Tracy on it, man. I'm a big fan. Rose is just a beast, though. She's fought the best of the best, beating some of the best of the best. But I'm gonna follow my heart. I'm gonna go Tracy.
I'm going Tracy too. So before we let you get out of here, and we appreciate your time.
Of course.
How do you predict you're going to get this win over Rakeem Cleveland?
Well, Rakeem is a super, super tough opponent. I see from his last fight some of the things that look like they worked and capitalized, as well as some things that I see that just from fight to fight, I've seen that are openings that we can possibly exploit. So I'm the type of fighter, man. It's go out on your shield. You know what I mean? So I'm always looking to finish. I'm always looking to make it exciting. Like if I can get out of there in a round, I'm trying to. So we're definitely gonna be looking to like I said, make a statement with this fight. I want it to be clear domination or finish. So I think I can see maybe a second, third round finish or 30-27 all the way through unanimous decision victory. But I want it to be dominant. I want it to be no doubt that like, oh yeah, we got to see him again for that belt.
Yeah, definitely. Can you tell the fans where we can tune in to see this fight?
Of course. So Peak has their own streaming platform. It's at peakfighting.com. You go up there and then you'll be able to order the event on August 3rd from Lake Charles, Louisiana. And yeah, tune in. It's gonna be fireworks. He comes to fight, I come to fight. Like I said, I don't see that he backs up that much, and I don't particularly like to go backwards either. I always say it. So we'll see who can force the first step back.
I'll be throbbing at the bit, dude.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, hey man, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on.
Whoa, dude, I thought that grinder was broke.
Not anymore. Thanks to Avalos Co., I was able to get the parts I need in order to repair my grinder so my business can go on as usual.
What else do they sell parts for?
Well, funny you should ask. They sell parts for your broken tools, sex toys, garden equipment, even parts for your computer so you can get back to the games of Halo with your virgin friends.
Okay, tell me more. Where do I purchase?
You can see what they have available exclusively at avalis-co.com. That's AVLIS-CO.com. Check them out to get your tools to entertain those certain family jewels back in working order today. We appreciate you guys' time. So we are now after UFC Denver, and we figured we'd just do a little recap on this bad boy. So I'll let you go ahead and open up, pal.
Yeah, Julian Erosa, first of all, getting the submission in the first round. I think that's what we both thought would happen.
Who'd you say?
Julian Erosa.
Julian. Okay. I thought you were saying Juliana. That's why I was like, I don't think there was a female fight on the first card of the main card. I'm pretty sure there was a guy's fight.
I don't know. Christian might tell you he smells good, but I don't. I'd say this is a guy.
Yeah, maybe. But you know, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was on Michael Bisping's chat the entire time, so I really didn't pay attention to the Drew Dober fight. I was too busy trying to blow up Bisping's live chat to get us the shout outs we deserve, you know?
Yeah, and I think your efforts were definitely noticed.
We definitely got a couple followers from it, so it's worth it. Definitely worth it. But so you know what? Let me actually I already have it up. Perfect.
Well,
Okay.
let me just say this: I was right on everything but the co-main and main event.
You weren't necessarily right, but we'll get to that here in a second. So next we had Gabriel Bonfirm versus Angie Lusa. You know, tough night for Angie Lusa. Not only is his name Angie, but he also took a L. So
He's a loser.
He's a Lusa. That's perfect. That's actually a fucking perfect play on words. Next fight, this for me is controversial, man. Here's the thing. Yeah, Drew Dober it was back and forth a little bit, but Drew Dober was the one that was cut open. He was bleeding all over the place. What the fuck, dude? We're in Denver. They do bare knuckle there. You're gonna stop the fight mid round to have a doctor look at him? We're in the middle of the fucking round, dude. What are we doing?
But did you see the size of that gash, bro? It was longer than an eyebrow.
It was mid round.
It's I look at it like when they stop it, when a guy's like pretty much going out, like his light's already out and they wave it. It's like they just stopped it before it created further damage.
I don't know, man. I just feel like Drew Dober is the kind of fighter that would rather go on a shield, and you need to give him that opportunity, especially mid round. If you had a fucking issue with that gash was there at the end of round 2. You could have stopped it in the middle, in between rounds. Why are you going to let him go out there and start, setting up his offense and then just stop it cold turkey right there? Well, we're all ready to fucking see something. I wanted Drew to win, but here's the thing. I'm probably right there with probably how Drew feels. I would have rather seen him go out on a shield than a fucking doctor stoppage. This isn't New York. What are you doing, dude?
What? Obviously, I would have loved to have seen it go, all the way through, but I don't disagree with it either. When I saw that gash, I was like, ooh, yeah, that's fucked.
That's the same size gash that Nate Diaz had when he fought Jorge Masvidal. And that doctor that stopped that fight in between rounds, not in the middle of the fucking round, he was getting death threats. But this guy stops the fucking fight mid-round to do that?
I think this is worse.
No, dude, that gash is not worse.
Bro, I'd like for you to take and find a picture of his and put them side by side.
So, real quick, while I find this, go ahead and line up the Ponzinibbio versus Salikov fight while I find this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Muslim, I'll be honest. Before this fight, I haven't really paid too close attention to him, but I really liked his stand up. I mean, I could see why he would call himself the king of kung fu for sure. Santiago, for not fighting for an entire year, he looked really good too. Like, I feel that it was a really close decision and it could have gone either way.
Ponzinibbio, whatever, however you say his name, he did look really good. No, honestly, that was a banger, dude. And so was the last fight on the prelims. That was a banger too.
Oh, dude. Okay. Let me see if we're talking about the same fight here because, Joshua Vaughn versus Charles Johnson.
Yeah, dude, this whole card, this card was a sleeper.
Yeah, because to your point, well, it was short-lived, but Montiel Jackson fucking 18-second KO. Hit him with that 1-2. Put him on his ass.
He gave him the 3-piece in the soda?
Yeah.
All right, so I
guess you could say right Montiel Jackson's a 2-pump chump.
He's a 2-pump chumperoo. All right, let me share my screen real quick. I got the picture right here of Nate Diaz from the first Jorge Masvidal fight. Right here. Share. So, dude, that cut.
Yeah, zoom in on that.
It's fucking on the bottom and the top, dude. It just looks cleaner because his face is clean. This is after the decision. If you took it in the middle when they stopped the fight, it was just as bloody as Drew Dober's.
Okay, now let's look at Drew.
Here, go ahead and keep talking about the Ponzinibbio fight while I look this up real quick.
I guess my thoughts were Really, my only takeaway that I haven't said already was just Muslim. He's got those flashy, spinny
Which one?
kicks. Yeah, right.
You're talking about the Muslim?
The one and only,
The
the
one and only.
welterweight.
the Muslim weight.
Not much to say about it, but I'll move on to the main event and talk about that a little bit.
Perfect.
Tracy Cortez, for a 5-round fight and having that weight cut struggle, I was surprised to see her still have it all in the tank. But I was also shocked to see that she would struggle with Rose, and Rose actually seemed to be the better fighter tonight with takedowns and just overall ground experience. I don't know if that was just Tracy being a little bit fatigued, but Rose she appeared to be way stronger tonight, and I didn't expect that.
So tell me clean. That's maybe, dude, altogether, Nate's face is worse.
Well, Nate's face looks worse on a regular day.
Well, yeah, Drew Dober's built like a god, but I'm just saying, it's a similar cut. That's all I'm saying.
I can't see them both side by side the way you got the screen sharing right now.
I don't have them side by side. The one on top is just him bloodied. Here, I'll pull up Nate Diaz, the cut again.
I get
it's
your
right here. So here's Nate Diaz, and wrong one. So there's Nate Diaz. There's Drew.
Okay, now really zoom in on Drew's.
That's as far as it'll zoom in.
That's all you get, bitch.
That's all you get. But I mean,
well, I get your point though. It's pretty freaking similar.
It might Drew's, on top might be worse, but Nate has the bottom also. But my main point is it's a similar type of cut, it's similar size. It's gonna still get in your fucking eye regardless. If you're gonna stop the fight, do it between rounds. Don't stop the fight mid-round. That's my main point. I didn't have a problem. Drew was losing. I didn't have a problem with the loss. I had a problem with the way it was stopped. That's my point.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that one because I'll be honest with you, I was nodding out in my chair outside, when that fight happened. And I kind of just came to whenever there was a lot of noise, and then I just saw the massive gash. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to rewatch that. But I agree with you. I think if it was that bad going into the corner, they should have looked at it and called it off then instead of letting him go out thinking he's got the whole rest of the round to fight it off.
Yeah, exactly. And it was that bad. Because Drew almost got finished at the end of round 2. That's where the cut got really opened up really bad. And I was on the Bisping live, like I said, and he even made the comment like, ooh, they're going to let him go out and fight. And then they stop it after the round already began. It's like, dude, if you're going to stop it between rounds. You're going to get the fans all hyped up to fucking doctor stop.
They must have just not noticed how bad it was until he got out and got hit again or something.
Yeah. And then the way when Herb Dean did stop it, it was after another spinning back elbow. But that spinning back elbow didn't really land. Drew had his guard up. It mostly hit his forearm. But maybe the angle Herb Dean was at, he thought maybe it hit that fucking same spot and it cut it open worse. I don't know. But we'll get off this subject. That was just my main point. I don't have a problem with Drew losing. I just had a problem with the way it was stopped. It does suck that Drew lost because I do like Drew a lot. But back to the main event. Obviously, we were wrong in that. Like we seem to usually be since we started this podcast. You guys are fucking terrible luck. But it was, I don't want to say it was an exciting fight, but it was a pretty good fight. Like there was definitely some resistance. Rose was the aggressor when it came to actually, taking her down and getting in her guard, which you would think Tracy Cortez would be since she trained with Henry Cejudo. Or she trains with Henry Cejudo, I should say.
That was my takeaway, too. I did not expect Rose to look much stronger tonight. I don't know if I put that to in the location of where they fought. And
I would put location. I think it's
struggle,
altitude.
The struggle with the weight cut, if you put those two together, I mean, we're creating a case of excuses right now.
It's not an excuse. I think it's an altitude thing. And it's not an excuse because it's on Tracy Cortez. She should have been out there a little earlier. She thought 2 weeks was enough to acclimate. That's on her. That's why she lost. So it's not an excuse. It's ill preparation. But she also took the fight short notice. But even everyone in the live that I was doing earlier, they all agreed that Tracy is probably not acclimated to that, to that height. What is Denver's height at? Denver.
I think it's like around 8,000.
So right now it's 5,280. That's the elevation.
Damn, I was way off.
I mean, that's fucking high, but still.
Hey, you know what? I had another takeaway. This we're going way deep into the preliminary cards, but the thought just crossed my mind because we had those fighters on today. Fatima Klein. She comes in short notice.
Oh, you said Fatima. I thought you said Fatima.
We're saying the same thing. You're just saying
Fatima is a female fighter. She fought tonight.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, well, you said he.
No, I said Fatima.
Well, I thought you said he after. That's what confused me.
Fatima.
I actually
tomato, potato.
I hit up her manager to try to get her on here.
Right. That's why I'm talking about this. So I was paying attention to her fight today. I probably wouldn't have had we not had the talk about her earlier. And I was impressed. She goes up against a 15th rake on short notice and high elevation, and she looked pretty fucking good. She even rocked her in the She rocks her in the second round, and Jasmine had to think twice, and she had to get a hold of her to save her life because
it was that girl's debut.
Yeah, and she was piecing her up. So I'd love to get her on and talk about that. Hopefully, we can make that happen.
Hopefully, she doesn't see episode 1.
Well, and if she does, she'll just have to realize that that's why we love talking about MMA, because we surround ourselves by fighters. They have the thickest skin. They could take a fucking joke. They've gone through adversity. If anybody tunes into that and they're like, "Oh man, these guys are assholes," it's like, come on.
Fatima, if you see this, and you did see episode 1, you are the type of female fighter we want to see fight, and we would love to have you on. It's just most of the time female fighters don't have the knockout power. They really don't have the starching power. So you just get kind of a dry humping session. And, that's fine if you're watching, Pornhub, but I'm watching MMA. I'm trying to see violence. So Fatima, hats off to you. Your debut was fantastic.
Yeah, she has that knockout power. She fucking rocked her.
Well, with a name like Fatima, dude.
Right?
I went to a Catholic school named Our Lady of Fatima. That's a legit name. Yeah, I got hit with a ruler.
Yeah.
I had to learn a prayer. Our Father.
That's when
now I'm a devout Satanist.
They bust out that ruler, and that's when you found out you were the 2-inchy.
Fucking dude, I hit that bust down. I went
call
straight blue face, baby.
I
went straight baby dick, baby. But it was actually a sleeper card. We can sit and we can pray that next weekend's gonna be the same, but I don't think so. I think next weekend is just gonna suck. We don't even have really a big name to look at. We're not gonna get too much into that because we're gonna look over the card and give detailed a detailed analysis on Tuesday. Give us something to talk about. But until then,
it was lightweight throbbing.
Oh, you know what? I forgot. You reminded me. Jake Paul versus Mike Perry's next weekend. I'm not watching UFC, baby. I'm watching Jake Paul versus Mike Perry. That is, whoever picked that date on Jake Paul's team, that guy needs a raise. They looked way in advance, said this is the shittiest UFC card of the year. This is when you want to have your pay-per-view. That's right? Brilliant. That's brilliant.
when you're going to get the UFC fans to go, you know what? That's actually more interesting.
And after Mike Perry, I want to see Jake Paul fight Bruce Buffer, dude. Bruce Buffer's 66. It's right in Jake Paul's alley. He has little to no fight experience. Is literally the perfect opponent for Jake Paul. And I think he might get knocked out. I'm just gonna say. I think Buffer might knock his ass out. Buffer fought Matt Serra on a fucking elevator, bare knuckle. He's a monster.
Savage.
He's a monster. It's time, bitch.
And after having to say some of these fuckers' names, I have so much respect for Bruce Buffer.
Dude, after saying all their names, dude, I could tie a fucking cherry stem in a knot just from saying their names.
Right?
My tongue is dexterity. Ladies, hit me up. My tongue is dexterous, brother. That's all I'm going to say. I'm hitting it with that fucking, that 1-2.
He's getting them reps in.
I'm hitting that basic boxing fucking, the basic boxing principles, but it works. Don't change it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Give him that 1-2 throb.
Give him that 1-2 hook tooey. But yeah, so actually we had a pretty cool thing happen while the fights were going. Once again, I was on Bisping's live. Bisping gave us a shout out. So I'm actually going to share the little shout out here. So enjoy, guys, and buy some fucking merch.
Panda, can you give us a shout out? We had Harrington on our pod last weekend. PandaMMANews. Do you know what? I saw a little clip about that. Is that what the podcast was? Scrolling Twitter, I saw a little bit. I should have retweeted it for you, but I didn't because he was saying nice things about me. The reason I didn't retweet it is because then I looked like a cock. Do you know what I mean? Oh, look at this, retweet that. Oh, yeah, sweet. Harrington's bigging me up. I mean, of course, Harrington's going to say something nice. He's not going to go on a podcast, PandaMMANews, and slag me off, is he? I'll give him a right good slap. All right, if I was near gun...
Yeah, so that was Bisping giving us a shout-out. So if he can shout us out, you guys can fucking follow us. It's that easy, dude. Just hit subscribe. Leave a cheeky little comment. Buy some fucking merch. It's not that goddamn hard. It's really not.
Don't be fucking cucking us.
Yeah, we're not Ian, dude. We don't belong in the corner. So we're actually just going to move into current events because we do, as of right now, have a pretty decently long episode. So we'll just get to the end of this. So first thing first, biggest news on the table, and by the time this comes out, everybody, I'm sure will have already seen this, but we're going to talk about it. Trump got shot at his rally, and he was mid-speech. We're hearing kind of different reports, though, that the blood on him is from the teleprompter being shot and the glass cutting him. Not positive. Obviously, no reports have officially come out, so we're not sure on that. But we heard a gunshot. He grabbed his ear. That's what we actually saw. And I saw an interview earlier where there's a guy in the crowd attending the rally, and he had blood all over his shirt, and he was saying the guy in front of him got shot in the face and bled out and died. So I don't exactly know what happened. I wasn't there. But that's that. You got anything to say about that?
I did see a picture of the apparent shooter found on a rooftop, and he'd gotten handled. He was dead.
Dude, Vic was telling me that he's all, you see the guy got murdered. I'm like, that's funny. What do you expect? You go to a MAGA rally where everyone has a fucking gun? Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Dumb ways to die.
They're not liberals. They don't have dildos.
Right. But if they did,
they're assault dildos.
And they needed a part for it. They just
that's
go to avila-co.com.
Yes, they have all your parts. They have parts for motors. They have parts for computers. They have parts for engines. They have parts for dildos. Visit them. They are our very first sponsor. They are our favorite sponsor thus far. So visit them, get your parts. You guys already saw the ads, so you know what to fucking do. I don't have to go too much into that. So we'll go to the next one. This was a crazy knockout at BKFC last night. It was pretty brutal. Let me share my screen.
That's that shit we do like.
Here we go. We're talking 5 seconds in the first round, 4 seconds in reality, but they're still counting. But it should have been 4 seconds. That should beat Jorge's record, even though it's not MMA.
That's man shit right there, dude.
That's pretty fucking brutal, dude. That is pretty brutal.
I'll tell you what, I love me some BKFC.
Yeah.
And some KFC.
I was about to say, I love me some KFC.
Give me a famous bowl.
So we actually have a little bit of technical difficulties. When I show videos, I've come to realize that when you guys hear the audio, it's kind of echoing and choppy. And I just realized the last two videos I was going to show is kind of audio dependent. So we're going to skip that. Hoping to have a new interface soon so we can, make sure everything's top notch. We don't want garbage here. I'm sure you guys will notice in the earlier part of the episode, we stepped up that fucking game, son. We got fucking multiple cameras. It's sexy in here. It's sexy, dude. It's part of my future. That's why I wear sunglasses. I can't see. But yeah, so I guess that's kind of it for this episode, guys. We appreciate you guys listening. What we don't appreciate though is you guys listening and not clicking subscribe, not clicking like, and not going to PandaMMANews.com and clicking the merch button and buying some fucking merch. That we don't appreciate. And honestly, it's kind of sickening. If I'll tell you guys what, we will work out a special deal. If you buy merch within the next 72 hours, we will have every piece of merch you buy fart on by Tracy Cortez. So get to shopping. This is a once in a lifetime deal. And it's 100% Tracy Cortez farts. There's no chance it's me and Big Sloppy bare ass on your shit. I promise.
That's a quality guarantee.
Yeah, that's a quality guarantee. You know what I mean? So on that note, we're gonna start with the exit.